Okay, who wants to know the trick to making the right choice every single time there's a choice to be made? I'm just assuming the rest of you all are raising your hands too, because who couldn't use some help with decision making? So there's this concept of wise mind from a type of therapy called dialectical behavior therapy. And wise mind is basically code for a bunch of other words you may be more familiar with, such as intuition, God, goddesses, gods and goddesses, higher power, inner knowing, the universe, the powers that be. I'm sure I left a bunch of others out, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. Essentially, your wise mind is that inner knowing that something is or is not right for you. We can't always put our finger on exactly how we know, but we know it. We feel it in our bodies, most often our gut. Hence the saying, trust your gut. And when we follow that guidance, things tend to be easier, run smoother, and turn out much more in our favor. That's because wise mind is the blend of our reasonable or rational mind and our emotion mind, both of which are very important to pay attention to in decision making and navigating life overall. Reasonable mind is intellectual, fact based, logical, rational, and task focused. Values and feelings are not important in reasonable mind. Scientists, engineers, and mathematicians are often thought of to operate primarily from reasonable mind. Now, emotion mind is mood dependent, urge based, reactive, and feelings and emotion focused. Facts, reason, and logic are not as important. So, artists, musicians, healers are often thought of to operate primarily from emotion mind. Really, the best in all of these fields find some combination of the two types of mind because there are problems when you spend too much time in either reasonable or emotion mind. If we are too reasonable, we don't take into account the information our emotions give us. We become too rigid and don't take chances or follow urges that are part of what creates a fulfilling life. And we miss out on the beauty and magic that life has to offer. And if we're too emotional, we don't take facts and logic into consideration, which can lead to spreading false information, overreacting to situations, damaging our relationships, and getting ourselves into trouble. Some of us may find that we operate in either reasonable or emotion mind most of the time. Or we may find that we operate more out of one or the other depending on the current situation. And of course, there are times in which one might be more useful than the other, but overall, the trick, and you'll hear me say this a lot, is to find a balance of the two, aka wise mind, which is intuitive and, well, mindful. This is where you want to operate from as much as possible in order to live your best life. So then, how the heck do you find your wise mind? I know it's in there somewhere. At least I think it is. No, there are ways to get into wise mind. The trick is to figure out what works best for you and keep practicing that. I'll give you a couple ideas to try out, and you can always reach out to me if you'd like to learn more. So, first is to pay attention to the sensations in your body. Our bodies are always giving us important information. So, start to notice on a regular basis how your body feels and get curious about what those feelings are telling you. I'll have some more videos coming up soon that talk more about our bodies and feelings and emotions and how they help us. But for now, know that overall, wise mind feels peaceful, calm, centered. That doesn't mean there might not be other emotions mixed up in there, but overall, there's a sense of groundedness. You can also use your breath to access your wise mind. You can practice breathing in while saying to yourself the word wise, and then breathe out while saying to yourself the word mind. And keep doing this until you sense that you've accessed your wise mind. Remember, you'll feel this in your gut as an inner knowing. You can also ask your wise mind a question. Breathe in and silently ask wise mind your question. Then breathe out and listen for the answer. The key is to listen. Don't force an answer. And continue asking the question on each in-breath for some time. And if no answer comes, that's okay. Just try again another time. Sometimes it can be difficult to get into wise mind, but practice does make the process easier. And try activities that ground you, that bring you a sense of peace and help you to go within. They tend to be really useful in finding your wise mind. So things like meditation, yoga, running, walking, swimming, other physical activities, being in nature, knitting, painting, cooking, folding laundry, staring at a candle flame, sitting in a warm bath, using tarot cards. These are all activities I've had people tell me help them to get into wise mind and have worked for me as well. But what do you do once you've settled into your wise mind and have heard what it has to say to you? Trust it. And trust it by acting on it. Whatever it tells you to do, just do it. A word of warning though. Sometimes we will not like what our wise mind has to say. But if it's truly our wise mind and we trust it and act on it, life will unfold much more beautifully than we ever could have imagined. And that helps us to trust the process even more. And I'll give one last suggestion. Start off by practicing this with small things. More insignificant decisions that won't have a huge impact on our life can make this learning process much easier. It often seems safer to start out by asking your wise mind to help you decide on what to eat for dinner than who you should marry or what city you should move to. From there, you can build up to take on the entire world in a good way. So for more taking on of the world through mindfulness, like this video and subscribe to this channel. And please ask any questions that you may have about wise mind or anything else in the comments below.